Hey y'all, thank you for clicking on my October wrap-up video. I'm not going to make this intro too long because the video is already long enough. I did have a good reading month. I had a 5-day slump. Piranesi, we'll just leave it at that. But I was able to catch up. I finished my best friend's Exorcism literally last night. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.
The Southern's Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. This book has to be a joke. It has to be. Because you know at the end of this book where Patricia said if this would have been a book, it would have been called this? That's what this book should have been called. Because slaying vampires? That's not what this book should have been called. I was really hoping this book was going to be about a group of women who are in a book club and discover that there is a nest of vampires and they slay them. No, that's not what this book was about. This was about a woman who saw a horrific thing and nobody believes her. 3 years later, she finally gets them to believe her. The only thing that this book made me feel was sorry for Patricia. I felt sorry for her. The only reason I finished this book was because I wanted to see her get her vindication and say, see, I know I saw what I saw. And she got it. As you can tell, I didn't like this book.
All Hallows by Christopher Golden. It is 1984. It is Halloween night. Kids are getting together to go trick-or-treating. Parents are getting together to go to parties. And teenagers are getting together to go to the haunted forest. Forest? I'm not refilming. Forest. You're following along a bunch of stories in this book, and it all comes together in the end. An hour before midnight, all hell breaks loose in this book, and it gets so much better. The carnage at the end. Perfect.
How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. If you haven't read this book, run out and borrow it from your friend who owns it, or do like I did, go borrow it from your library. I need to buy this book. It was so scary. I will never look at dolls and puppets the same again. And you know what? This book was so good, I'm not even mad about this one anymore. And the ending was so heartwarming. I am hoping that this book is 80s campy because this book was so good and this book was so bad. I don't know what to think about this book. We'll see.
Death Warmed Over by Kevin J. Anderson. This is book 1 of the Dan Shamble Zombie PI series. I've already read book 1 to 4, but I'm rereading them to refresh my memory because I want to complete the series. This is a cozy murder mystery PI book, but in this world, witches, werewolves, vampires, they exist. And in this book, you're following Dan Shambeau, who works for a human lawyer who fights for discrimination against all these werewolf, zombies, vampires. She fights to help them be seen. And he's her private investigator. He is also investigating his own murder and the murder of his girlfriend. If you enjoy a cozy, comfy murder mystery, this book is also funny. You should really start reading this one.
This Delicious Death by Kayla Cottingham. This was the fastest DNF I have ever done. I DNF'd this book after 2 words. These 2 words. I'll leave a video in the description as to why I hate
Book
this.
Club said to continue with this book, so I'm going to soft DNF
These
this.
books
And
are
as
due
for
at the
episode
library.
13,
I'm
I
gonna
had
go
to
ahead
put
and
it on my
soft
wait
DNF
list again
this.
because
I'm gonna wait
someone
to see
else
what
had
Book
it
Club says to
on
see
hold.
if I'm going to continue
So,
to read it.
I am
I'm not
enjoying this
enjoying
book,
it.
though.
It is
I
not
will
going
continue it
anywhere.
once I get it back.
And on this book, I'm going to see if they'll let me recheck it out because I didn't finish it and I'm really enjoying it. So Cross my fingers and let's see if the library let me recheck it out for the third time.
Already Dead by Charlie Houston. I now remember why I DNF'd this book 10 years ago. There are no chapters in this book. It just goes on and on and on and on, and it's not holding my attention. It didn't hold my attention 10 years ago, and it's not holding my attention now. So I'm finally giving up on this book because, yes, I have tried audiobook 10 years ago, and the narrator just didn't work for me. So 100% DNFing.
Afterlife with Archie by
Recorded Attacks by Max Brooks. This book is a graphic novel about recorded zombie attacks through history. The graphics in this book are amazing. I enjoyed it so much. Closure Limited and Other Zombie Tales by Max Brooks. These are just short stories in the same world as World War Z. So if you liked that, you're gonna like this. Roberto Aguirre-Sacasa and Francesco Francavilla. I am not a comic book reader, so I don't really know if in this book giving a nod to Sabrina the Teenage Witch is a normal in the Archie universe, but it starts off with Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Jughead making a lovingly tragic, horrific decision that turns him into a zombie. And this follows Archie and his friends as they fight zombies. My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I really enjoyed this book. This book was so fun to read and gross. There's a part in this book about a worm that is disgusting, and a part in this book that I wanted to punch Grady Hendrix in the face. And then you get to the last 15, 20 pages, and it is so endearing, and the way he ends this book will bring tears to your eyes. But I still want to punch Grady Hendrix in the face. The Winners by Fredrik Backman. This is book 3 in the Beartown series. In book 1, you're left with the injustice of what happens in this book. In book 2, you are left with the horrifying tragedy of what politics can do to a town. And in book 3, it is 2 years after the event in book 1. And this book is just a closure of everything. People are coming back to town for a funeral, but there is also another funeral that's taking place at the same time that nobody knows about, nobody cares, and it has a correlation with book 1. And the ending was so sad. You think a character in this book is going to finally get their happy ending, and he doesn't. It's heartbreaking. It made me cry, not the way book 2 made me cry, but it was very sad. And if you just want a heartbreaking story, I recommend reading the whole series. It is so stinking good. I never opened this book, not even once. Back to the TBR jar it goes.